Picture this. You wake up in the middle of the night and something feels wrong. The room is pitch black. You reach for your phone, but the screen won't turn on. You glance out the window. Your entire neighborhood is swallowed by silence and darkness. No streetlights, no hum of appliances, no flicker of power anywhere. At first you think, it'll come back in a few minutes. But as the hours drag on, that blind faith crumbles. And here's the truth most people never face. Our modern world is completely dependent on electricity. It's the backbone of everything. Your food storage, your heating and cooling, your communication, even the water that comes out of your faucet. Remove that backbone and society collapses faster than anyone wants to believe. So let me ask you right now, are you really prepared to survive without power? I'm not talking about a couple of hours during a summer storm. I'm talking about days, weeks, maybe even months in total blackout. Imagine your fridge full of food rotting. Imagine your phone dead with no way to call for help. Imagine the stores stripped bare in less than 24 hours and desperate neighbors turning against each other just to survive. When was the last time you lived through a blackout? Did you have flashlights ready? Did you have food that didn't rely on refrigeration? Did you have a way to cook, to heat, to defend yourself? Or did you just wait, hoping someone else would fix it for you? Here's the brutal reality. In a prolonged grid-down scenario, waiting could mean death. And I don't say that to scare you. I say it to wake you up. Because the next time a cyber attack, a solar storm, or even a natural disaster takes down the grid, the question won't be, when will the lights come back on? The question will be, how do I survive without them? This video is for people who refuse to leave their lives in the hands of luck. For those who know, preparedness isn't paranoia, it's survival. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what to do when the power goes out, how to protect your family, and what steps you can take right now to avoid being just another victim in the chaos. And listen, if you don't want to be blindsided by the next blackout, then do this right now. Hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell, smash that like button, and drop a comment saying, "I choose survival." That way you're not just watching, you're committing. You're part of the group that's ready for what others pretend will never happen. But let me warn you, what I'm about to reveal isn't easy to hear. We're going to talk about empty shelves, about families running out of water, about neighbors fighting in the streets, real-world scenarios that have already happened in cities across the globe, and that could happen where you live, tomorrow. So before we move forward, ask yourself this one question. If the blackout started right now, would you be ready? First, survival priorities. When the grid collapses, the very first thing you're going to notice isn't the darkness. It's the silence. The hum of the fridge stops. The whir of the heater dies. The Wi-Fi vanishes. At first it feels like an inconvenience, but then reality sets in. Darkness you can handle. Silence you can handle. But what happens when you go to the faucet and nothing comes out? Water is always the first domino to fall. Without power, pumps stop moving water into your home. Treatment plants shut down. And within hours, entire cities can lose safe drinking water. Think about that. You can go weeks without food, but only 3 days without water. And when your neighbors realize that, desperation spreads like fire. People will raid stores, fight over bottled water, and in less than a day, the shelves are stripped clean. So here's the question. If your tap went dry tonight, how much water do you actually have in your home? Enough for 3 days? For a week? For your whole family? Most people don't, and that's why blackouts spiral into chaos faster than anyone expects. Without power, there is no water. And without water, survival time ticks down like a bomb. But water is just the beginning. Next comes food. Your fridge? It's nothing but a countdown clock now. Within hours, bacteria start multiplying. Within a day, milk sours, meat spoils, vegetables wilt. And by the second or third day, you're left staring at a useless box of rotting food. Unless you've prepared shelf-stable supplies, you're done. That's the moment panic takes over. Picture this. A city in total blackout, grocery stores with empty aisles, people lined up outside, begging for shipments that may never come. You think the government will step in? Maybe, but not fast enough. In disasters, aid often arrives days, sometimes weeks later. And in those days, people lose their humanity. They break into homes. They fight in the streets. And those who didn't prepare become prey for those who did. And let's talk about light. It sounds minor, right? Just grab a flashlight. But think deeper. Imagine your entire neighborhood cloaked in absolute darkness. No streetlights. No headlights from passing cars. Just shadows everywhere. Darkness breeds fear. Fear breeds violence. And without light, criminals thrive. You can't protect what you can't see. Now let me hit you with this. Security. This is where survival takes a brutal turn. In the first 24 hours, most people are calm. They believe the lights will come back. But after 48 hours, desperation begins. After 72 hours, violence is reality. Home invasions. Looting. Neighbors turning on neighbors. You can lock your doors, but in true blackout chaos, a lock is just an invitation. So let me ask you, if the power failed tonight, do you have enough water for your family? Do you have food that will last weeks? Do you have light when the sun sets? Do you have a way to defend yourself when fear turns into violence outside your door? Because this isn't theory. These things have already happened. In Puerto Rico, after Hurricane Maria, millions went without power for months. Families cooked over fires. People drank contaminated water. Crime exploded. In the Texas freeze of 2021, millions lost power in the dead of winter. People burned furniture to stay warm. Some froze to death in their homes. And in Venezuela's grid collapse, hospitals shut down, food spoiled everywhere, and an entire nation plunged into chaos. This is not science fiction. It's not maybe someday. It's history repeating itself over and over. And if you think it can't happen where you live, you're already in danger. In the next part, I'm going to show you exactly what to do in those first critical 24 hours of a total blackout. The window where you either gain control or lose everything. Because survival isn't luck. It's about the decisions you make right when the lights go out. The critical first 24 hours. The moment the lights go out, the clock starts ticking. Most people don't realize it, but those first 24 hours decide everything. They decide whether you'll be calm, prepared, and in control, or panicked, exposed, and in danger. Because the truth is, once the grid goes down, the countdown to chaos has already begun. Here's how it plays out. Hour 1, the lights cut off. People grab their phones. They check the Wi-Fi. They text their friends. Is your power out too? There's confusion, but no panic yet. Most assume it's temporary. They keep scrolling until their batteries die. Hour 6, now the house is colder, or hotter, depending on the season. The fridge is sealed tight, but inside the clock is already ticking. Food safety experts know this. Within 4 to 6 hours, perishables are in danger. Meat, dairy, leftovers, already on the path to spoiling. But most families don't realize it yet. They think they still have time. Hour 12, darkness falls, and that's when people start to get nervous. Flashlights run on batteries, candles burn fast, and suddenly the world outside feels hostile. Without light, every sound is amplified. Every shadow feels like a threat. Fear sets in, and fear is dangerous. Hour 24. This is the breaking point. Water pumps stop working in many homes. Toilets don't flush. Food is spoiling. Freezers begin to leak. The illusion that the power will come back soon is gone. And for those who did nothing, that's when desperation takes root. Now let's be clear, most people fail in these first 24 hours because they waste time. They don't act, they wait. They assume help is coming. But survival isn't about waiting, it's about moving fast. So here's what you must do the second the blackout begins. First, lock down your water. Fill every container you have, sinks, bathtubs, bottles, buckets, before the pressure drops. Don't assume it will keep flowing. Once it stops, it may not return for days, maybe weeks. Second, secure your food. Eat perishables first. Prioritize the items in your fridge that won't last more than a few hours. Milk, fresh meat, eggs, leftovers. Use them while you can, because every hour counts. Freeze what you can if there's any chance of saving it. But be realistic. Your freezer is a time bomb once the power is gone. Third, set up your light. Gather flashlights, lanterns, candles, but don't burn through them carelessly. Darkness isn't just inconvenient, it's a security risk. A dark street is a criminal's playground. And trust me, predators watch for the unprepared. Fourth, establish security. Most people don't think about this until it's too late. But crime spikes during blackouts. It's a fact. Opportunists know police response slows, alarms don't work, and homes are vulnerable. If you can't defend your house, you're a target. And in a blackout, calling 911 may not even be an option. Fifth, and this is what separates survivors from victims, get information. A radio, if you have one. Any signal that can tell you whether this is a local outage, a regional collapse, or something much worse. Knowledge gives you direction. Without it, you're just waiting in the dark. So let me ask you, if the lights went out right now, could you fill a bathtub with water before the pipes went dry? Do you know which food you'd eat first to avoid wasting it? Do you have a way to light your home without draining your phone battery in one night? And most importantly, do you have a plan to defend your family if someone comes knocking when the streets go black? Because history shows this again and again. In New York City's blackout of 1977, within hours, looting and arson ripped through the streets. In the Venezuelan blackout of 2019, hospitals lost power, people died without medical equipment, and within a day, lawlessness took hold. And every single time, the ones who acted immediately, who secured their basics in those first hours, were the ones who endured. Here's the cliffhanger. The first 24 hours are only the beginning. What happens when it stretches into day 2, day 3, and beyond? When your food is gone, your water is running low, and neighbors are starting to get desperate. That's when survival changes from preparation to adaptation. And in the next block, I'll take you into the brutal reality of a prolonged blackout, how society begins to unravel, how danger escalates, and what you must do to stay one step ahead of the collapse. The days after, descent into chaos, day 2. The power is still out. The fridge is warm now, food inside already turning questionable. People open it, smell the sour milk, toss it, and start to realize this isn't temporary. Phones are dying, chargers useless. No news, no updates, just silence. And silence breeds fear. Day 3. The water stops running for most homes. Faucets spit out nothing but air. Toilets won't flush. Hygiene becomes a crisis. People start rationing the few bottles they had lying around. Some turn to desperate measures, collecting rainwater in dirty buckets, drinking from rivers or streams without purification, exposing themselves to deadly bacteria. You think people won't? They already have, every single time the grid has collapsed. Day 4. The shelves in every store are stripped bare. Bread, gone. Milk, gone. Bottled water, gone. And now the fights begin. People clawing over the last cans of beans, fists flying in darkened aisles. The weak walk away hungry. The strong take everything. And those who prepared, they lock their doors and pray they won't be noticed. By the end of the first week, the thin layer of civility that holds society together is gone. Neighbors you once waved to in the morning now eye your house with suspicion. They wonder if you have food hidden, if you have water stored, if you have supplies they can take. And make no mistake, when desperation turns to hunger, people will do things they never imagined they were capable of. This isn't paranoia. It's history. After Hurricane Katrina, within days, looting was rampant. Armed gangs roamed the streets, robbing families at gunpoint. In Puerto Rico, after Hurricane Maria, people waited for hours in lines for gas, food, and water, lines that often ended in violence. In Venezuela, during the nationwide blackout, crime skyrocketed. Families slept with weapons in hand, afraid of who might come through the door at night. Now here's what most people don't understand. The danger in a prolonged blackout isn't just starvation or thirst. It's other people, desperate people, fearful people, violent people. That's why security and stealth become your top priorities. If others know you're prepared, if they see light in your windows when the whole street is dark, if they hear the sound of food cooking when they're starving, they will come. And once they're at your door, what happens next depends on how far you're willing to go to protect what's yours. But it's not just about others. It's about you, because survival isn't only physical, it's psychological. The stress of endless nights without power, the fear of every noise, the exhaustion of rationing water and food, it breaks people. Some give up. Some make mistakes that cost them their lives. Some turn on each other. In survival, your greatest enemy isn't always outside. It can be your own mind. So how do you endure? You adapt. You stop wasting. You stretch supplies. You stay invisible. You control fear instead of letting fear control you. And above all, you understand that this isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. A brutal, grinding marathon of endurance. Let me ask you, if the blackout dragged on for a week, could you keep your family fed without drawing attention? Could you filter dirty water to make it safe? Could you stay sane listening to the cries, the shouting, the violence outside while sitting quietly in the dark? Because if you can't answer yes to those questions, then right now, while the lights are still on, you have to start preparing. You don't prepare when disaster strikes. You prepare before. Otherwise, it's already too late. And here's the cliffhanger. What happens when the blackout isn't just days, but weeks or even months? When the collapse becomes permanent, when emergency services are gone, when the world as you know it has disappeared. In the next block, I'm going to take you into the nightmare of long-term survival without power. What it really looks like. And the brutal lessons you must learn if you want to endure when society itself falls apart. Long-term survival without power. The first week without power is chaos. But the second week? That's when society starts to rot from the inside out. Food is gone, water is scarce. Hospitals are no longer functioning. Police forces are overwhelmed or have vanished completely. And what was once just a blackout is now a collapse. Imagine this. It's day 14. You wake up hungry. The last can of food you had is gone. The fridge has been useless for days. The pantry is empty. You hear your kids ask, "What's for breakfast?" And you don't have an answer. Outside, people are desperate. You hear shouting in the distance, glass breaking, maybe even gunfire. The rules you once trusted no longer exist. Now survival becomes something entirely different. It's no longer about rationing what you had. It's about adapting to a new world. And here's the brutal truth. Without power, the modern comforts you depend on every single day disappear, and you are thrown back into a primitive fight for survival. Water now must be sourced and purified daily. Streams, rivers, rainwater, every drop must be filtered or boiled because disease spreads faster than bullets in a collapse. Cholera, dysentery, parasites. They kill more people in long-term disasters than violence ever does. Are you ready to make fire? To boil water with nothing but basic tools? Because if you're not, thirst will kill you faster than hunger. Food becomes the next war. Canned goods are gone, stores stripped clean. That means you must know how to hunt, how to fish, how to trap, or at the very least how to grow something from the ground. But farming is not instant. Seeds don't become meals overnight. So you scavenge, you barter, you fight to stretch every calorie you can find. And here's the chilling truth. When people get hungry enough, they turn savage. History has shown it in every famine, every collapse. Hunger rewrites morality. Light? Forget it. Batteries die. Candles burn out. Generators, if you had one, run dry when the gas runs out. And in that endless darkness, mental strength becomes as important as physical strength. Depression sets in. Fear grows. People give up hope. But if you want to survive long term, you can't give in. You must learn to create light from nothing. Fire, improvised lamps, even solar solutions if you had the foresight to prepare. Then there's security. And in long-term collapse, security isn't about locks anymore. It's about vigilance, defense, and stealth. You can't broadcast your survival. If your home is the only one with smoke rising from the chimney, light glowing at night, or the smell of food in the air, you've just painted a target on your back. The desperate will come, and when they come, it won't be with kindness. And let's not ignore the hardest truth of all, medicine. In a world without power, hospitals shut down. Pharmacies are raided, supplies run out, a simple infection becomes deadly. A broken bone can end a life. Even childbirth turns into a gamble. Survival now means knowing not only how to fight and endure, but also how to treat wounds, purify tools, and prevent disease. By the end of the first month, those who didn't prepare are gone, or worse. What remains are the strongest, the most ruthless, and the few who planned ahead. And if you're still standing, it's because you adapted. You stopped waiting for the lights to come back on. You realized the world you knew was gone, and you became something different, something tougher, something relentless. Let me ask you now, if the blackout stretched not just for days, not just for weeks, but for months, could you survive? Do you know how to hunt, purify water, make fire, build shelter, defend your home, keep your family sane in the darkness? Or would you crumble, waiting for a rescue that may never come? Because here's the reality most people don't want to face. If the grid stays down long enough, rescue never comes. There is no cavalry, there is no reset button. There is only the new world, the one where survival belongs to the prepared. And in the next block, I'll give you the final truth. The lessons learned from every blackout, every disaster, every collapse in history. The strategies to take with you now, while the lights are still on, so that when the darkness finally comes, you won't just survive, you'll endure. But hear me clearly. If you think this is just entertainment, you're wrong. This is your warning, and your choice is simple. Prepare now, or regret later. So now you've seen it. The first 24 hours of a blackout, the chaos of the first week, and the nightmare of a world without power stretching into months. And if there's one lesson to take away from all of this, it's simple. Survival doesn't happen by accident. It happens because you prepare before disaster strikes. Every collapse in history has proven the same pattern. The unprepared panic, the desperate turn violent, the weak wait for rescue, and the survivors, the true survivors, are the ones who had the foresight to act while they still had the chance. That means right now, while the lights are on, while the stores are open, while you still have the illusion of safety, this is your window. This is your chance to get ready. Preparation isn't paranoia. It's responsibility. Do you have water stored? Food that can last? A way to generate light when darkness falls? A plan to defend your home? Skills to keep your family alive when society collapses? If your answer is no, then what's stopping you? Are you waiting for disaster to hit before you move? Because by then, it's already too late. Think about this. When the next blackout hits, and it will hit, what side of history will you be on? The side that panics, starves, and prays for help? Or the side that endures, adapts, and survives? Because the choice isn't made when the power goes out. It's made right now, before it happens. So I'm challenging you. Don't just watch this and forget it. Take action. Start today. Stock up. Learn skills. Make a plan. And most importantly, commit to never being caught helpless in the dark. If you've stayed with me this far, it means you understand the stakes. You feel the urgency, and you're ready to do something about it. So prove it. Hit subscribe right now. Smash that like button. Drop a comment that says, I will survive. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now. Because if you can't take action here, in the safety of your home, how will you take action when the world outside is falling apart? And here's the truth. This blackout scenario is just the beginning. Power grids can fail, yes. But what happens when natural disasters strike at the same time? What happens when supply chains collapse? When cyber attacks cripple entire nations? When cities burn and there's nowhere left to run? What happens when entire cities break down? And what you must do if you're trapped in the middle of it? Because blackouts are just the spark. Collapse is the fire. Because when the lights go out, the people who prepared will survive. The rest? They'll just become part of the story. The question is, which one will you be?